I choose was my grandpa and my dog. I hate myself for my dog being killed because it is awful. We was at South House, and we got the call that Bandit had got hit. If anybody knows where South Mont is, where the hospital is, and we live just right around the corner, it took me 5 minutes to get from there to our driveway. Mama said when we pulled into the driveway, he was gone. And Papa died of lung cancer 10 years ago on the 8th of December. I've got 3, but actually there's 4. My grandpa Bates died when I was 9 years old. And I remember sitting on his lap, watching Love Boat and Fantasy Island. I've got my Aunt Wanda who died with lung cancer 13 years ago. My Uncle Ricky who died with colon cancer 3 years ago, and my Grandma Bates. Tomorrow will be 5 years. She's the reason that I'm in church. She raised me in church. She's the reason I cook. And I know she's proud of me now being back in church. A couple weeks ago we were singing a song, I don't remember what it was, but I heard her beside me singing.
Amen.
So
Praise God.
I know she's smiling down on me.
Amen.
Amen. That's sweet.
Amen.
Amen. Praise God.
Go ahead, Lauren. You're fine.
People are putting up here, I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't really been that well. Probably the last time I saw him, I was probably about 3 or 4. So I scarcely remember them, but I do have family members that do, and they're going to be my great-great Aunt Margie and my great-great Uncle Joe.
Amen.
Easy helpful.
Amen.
Mine's kind of heavy. It's hard to lift. But you know what? I was raised by 2 Christian parents.
Amen.
And I don't care. I do care. But no matter how bad your kids go, or what they do, remember my mother's words. Train them up in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart.
That's right.
Amen. Come on.
I was taught from cradle up that Jesus loved me.
Amen.
Because God chose to take my first daughter at the age of 3 days, and she only went hell. I turned my back on God, because I didn't want anything to do with him, and I hated him. And I hated all you
Come
Christians.
on. Come on.
Amen. Come on.
Come on.
I turned into something that I wasn't proud of, and I couldn't ask my kids to ever be proud of. Well, then he took my mom, and I thought, whoa, hold on here. Well, then, this sorry little girl that had done everything wrong that's possible couldn't hold her head up to look anybody in the eye. Now, Ronald Wrights and a Janet Wright. Thank God I've still got Janet. And like she had a wonderful cruise. I lost Ronald, and he was the one that, if my boy just did anything to hurt me, I could talk to him. I lost him when his Christmas study.
That's right. That's right.
Daddy, come here. He taught me that no matter how bad can't say I grew up wrong in church. But I can say that when Reed took me aside one night and told me, he said, that Bible ain't doing you very good.
Amen. Come on.
Come on,
And that man ain't doing you any good.
come on.
Here's your Bible, read it.
Amen.
You know what? He didn't have to go to church. He lived it.
Amen.
And he told this little waitress to hold her head up. And I can look you all in the eye and say, yes, I'm sorry for what I've done in the past. And I'm sorry, son, that I hurt you. But you know what? We've got a whole eternity to make up for it.
Come on.
And
Amen.
we will
Come on.
be together together.
Come on.
I like that. You got it.
Hey Scott, I need to share something, because I was just,
Go ahead.
you know, I was responsible for cards this year, and Mama didn't give me a very good list. I just want y'all to know. Mama let me down, okay? So anyway, so I was just sitting over here before Vicky got up there, writing Vicky's card, and I want you to know, I want to read what I wrote in it, because I just feel like it really applies in this moment.
Amen.
And what I wrote was, Vicky, no one carries the Spirit in their pocket, but bless God, you sure wear it on your sleeve.
Amen.
And our family is so blessed by you, by your witness. We love you, girl.
Amen.
Love you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you very much. I'll trade you this.
Amen.
That's good. Amen. Amen.
Of course, I want to put my dad on the top of this angel because he's the reason I'm in church.
Amen.
That's right.
Like Randy said, he didn't complain that he would tell anybody who would listen about Jesus. And growing up, my parents divorced when I was 4, and my mother saw the need to fill my head full of lies about him. To tell me he was worthless and no good. Something inside me I always wanted to find out for myself. And there was 6 years that I didn't get to see him. He tried and she wouldn't let him. And then he took her to court and got rights to see me. And that's when I started getting to know him when I was 10. And at 15, I moved in with him. And that's when he introduced me to salvation. I was in church with my mother, but it wasn't a denomination that taught salvation. I didn't know what an altar call was. I knew who Jesus was, but I didn't know why he came. I didn't. But anyway, my daddy taught me in a Baptist church. And taught me the meaning of Jesus' birth and death. And then as an adult, there was a year of my life that it was more than a year, but I went off track. But there was a year in particular that I got mad at my dad. And I moved out of state, didn't tell him, didn't talk to him.
That's
then his mother passed away, and I was home for a visit, and I found out she had already been married and everything, but I just knew I had to go see him, so I did. And the reason I say all that is to say this. My dad was diagnosed with kidney disease and a suspicious tumor 11 years ago, well, 12 years ago now. And they confirmed it was cancer 7 years before he died. 7 years. I got my 7 years back.
Amen.
Amen.
Ain't that awesome?
I gave them back to him.
Amen.
And so, I just also want to put my grandmother on here. If it wasn't for her, I'd have been out on the street when I didn't have anywhere else to go.
Amen.
And I want to put something kind of unconventional. The memory of my mother. And she's still with us. But I haven't had a relationship for 7 years. By her choice. And so I feel like she's gone, but I know she's not. And it hurts. And I just pray that she professes salvation, but she doesn't live it, not anywhere close. And I just pray that that she will allow God to change her in time.
That's right.
I know He's working on her, but I just pray she'll allow it. And that God will give me what I need to open my heart back up to her. Because I know He's going to bring her back to me one day. I know He's working on it.
Amen.
But my heart is bitter. It hurts.
Amen.
And I just pray that He'll allow it to soften enough
That's right.
to allow us a relationship again. Because she used to be my best friend. I grew up, her telling me she would make him against the world. But then when she disagreed with some things in my life, she just turned her back. And you're right, young man, a mother's love, there's nothing like it. And I know she loves me. Mom's she's got issues of her own to deal with before she can learn how to show me that the way that you're supposed to. Because I know as a mother myself, there's nothing I wouldn't do for my children. And, you know, I have a grandchild on the way, and it's just, there's just nothing like a mother's love,
Amen.
except maybe a grandmother's. Again, if it wasn't for my grandmother, though, I wouldn't be turned out,
That's good.
you know, a lot of times. So I want to put her on here as well, and my grandfather. I didn't know Randy's dad, but I've learned a lot about him since we've been married, and I'm going to put him on here. And I definitely want to put my brother-in-law Steve on here. I miss him. I only knew him 3 years before the Lord took him home, but he was special. He taught me more in 3 years than most of my life in that other church.
Amen. Come on.
I don't mean to be ugly, but you know, you have to have your doctrine right. And
That's right.
you know.
I don't really have an angel on my own. Audrey texts me, she wants me to put this up there for her and probably the members of her family that's going on. And I'll hang this up there and with Audrey. I will say that, you know, there's a lot of love and Jesus Church. And if you feel like a misfit toy, this is where you belong.
I know that's right.
Yep.
I want to put this on for my grandpa. And my uncle, who passed away 2 years ago. 2 days after my birthday. My grandpa, I knew he was saved. He was the one that always told me not to complain because Jesus didn't complain. And my uncle, I can say for sure if he was or was not saved. So,
Amen.
I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever done this,
Amen.
but this is for my grandfather. I ain't got that much to say.
Amen.
This is for my grandma, my grandpa. They really loved Christ. They were good people.
That's good.
This one, I've never done an ancestry thing before, but as I was thinking or listening to everybody else, my memories began to open up a little more. And I got 3 generations on this tree. My grandmother, I want to say my dad first, because I was just thinking about the disconnect that we had when I was young. And my dad told me one day, he said, he was mad because I wouldn't disrespect him. And he told me he was going to take my name off the his name off the birth certificate. He didn't claim me no more. And because I wouldn't disrespect him. So we just kind of went our separate ways for some time. My dad was a military man, he was in the Army. And he had a lot of ways about him, a lot of things that he picked up from the Army mentality. But one thing was going on in his life that we didn't know. But he had contracted the Agent Orange and some of those other diseases that he picked up, and he had cancer in his body for years. And we didn't know it. So he was trying to disconnect from everybody. But I remember in 2001, I was in South Carolina, living in Myrtle Beach at the time, and he came to my sister's house, who was on the tree too, my sister. And we were there together at my sister's house, and he came and called me in the room by myself, and he said, "Son, the doctors just diagnosed me with cancer, and he said I only have 6 months to live." And so I was thinking about all the pain, that I felt toward it, but I didn't want him to die. I wasn't ready for him to die. And especially the fact that I knew that at that time, he wasn't saved. So we got together as a family and started praying for his salvation. And I was ministering at the time. And he had never saw me, heard me minister. And my mom was there, my stepfather was always there. But I moved back to Burlington, and because he wanted to be close to home, that's where we grew up at. So he was supposed to go to my mother's house with her husband, her new husband. My mom and her new husband decided to take my dad into their home and take care of him until he passed. And so they took him in, and in the midst of all that, God gave him some extra time because he started ministering to people. He started talking to people. He came to my house and we sit and talk, and he wanted to know about salvation, so I kind of led him into salvation. And then he started to talk to people about what bad choices and bad decisions. So that's what his ministry was for the rest of his life was telling him, he would call his friends over and people over on his dying bed and tell them about Jesus and what it's like if you live your life a certain way and what the difference is. And he was like, this is what your body, this is what a body that's out of order is like. When you live any kind of way, this is what your body, he's laying down that bed ministering to people like that. And so I think I put him on the tree because I know that he's born again and he's in heaven. Now, but I put him before I put my grandmother. She would be the first one that should be there because my grandmother was the one that told me things like, even when I was just living crazy, she would tell me, God is going to use you. God, you called, you the chosen vessel of God. God's not going to let you run. God, she just kept doing that in my head. I'm like, I just want to see, what is this woman looking at? Because I'm doing everything. And I remember stealing my mom's car and had a wreck and almost got killed in the car. And my mom was mad because it was a what was that car? It was a Delta 88 Buick. And it was her favorite car. And I wrecked this car. She was mad about the car. She was, if I had been hurt really bad, she probably wouldn't have been so mad about it. But I was, not really hurt. So she was mad because I done wrecked the car and I disobeyed her. And so she was angry. My grandma took me in to the house. I mean, I was running away from my mom's house because she might she gonna get mad at me over a car, But I was wrong all the time. When my grandma, she didn't see no wrong in me. But she took me in and I couldn't stand around her. She had leukemia. And I wanted to kiss her on and hug on and embrace her. And she was bruising up every time I would grab and hold her and I'd kiss her and they would leave bruises on her face. And so, but I wanted to love on her and I couldn't stand still like that. Because I know she loved me and I wanted to show her I love her. So I couldn't stay around her. And it hurt to, knowing she was deteriorating and going away. But memories, something, memories can't bruise. You can always love memories. And especially a woman that, she started me on drugs. Yeah, I tell you all the time. She drug me to church. I thought y'all knew me. She drug me. She started me on that. So, and she made sure that I was drugged in and listened to gospel songs and gospel preaching. She made sure I was in that. But I thank God for her. And then I think about my sister who would be, she had ovarian cancer. And she was in remission. I remember going to see her. She was suffering through the chemotherapy and all that stuff that she was going through, and it was hurting her. And I remember she used to, when she went through it the first time, it wasn't as bad, but she ended up going back into, it came in aggressively attacked her body, all the organs and everything. And I remember on a Wednesday, on Wednesday that we took her to the hospital, and they put her right back on that chemo and stuff. And I remember she was just like a baby. She was hurting so bad. I didn't want. I came in the room and she reminded me of how we were. All the brother of hers, and she loved me. And she was laying in that bed and she was in pain. And when they came in to take her out to take her through the test and the chemotherapy, she reached to grab me by my hand. She said, she was crying like a baby. She said, David, don't let them take me. She said, they're hurting me. And that opened up something in my spirit. She never complained though. That was one of the things I heard a lot of y'all talking about. In suffering, a born again believer, I believe instead of dying with cancer, she was living with it. A lot of people say they died with cancer, but she was living with it because she didn't complain. She used her last days to just, let us know how much she loved us. And, but I thank God for them. There's 3 generations on here. And I didn't want to forget my stepfather. My stepfather passed away since I've been incarcerated. It was like Easter's. Good Friday's when he died. And I say Good Friday because he actually went into a coma on Good Friday, but he went on to be with the Lord on Sunday morning. But I thank God for him because he's been a daddy to me. he had been my daddy. He made my mother happy, you know, and even, thinking about the transition between, he was so passive though. The man would never, he would open the door for mama, he would pull up a chair, put a coat on and do everything else, but he would never, she liked to travel, because that's what she just couldn't get over that, what my dad did, but he wouldn't come up with no plan, no idea, no nothing. He would just sit there and I'm gonna tell you this one, but I remember one time when I was out, my mom was wanting to go, she wanted to travel, she wanted to go out actually. But she wanted him to ask her to go out. So she had told me what she was gonna do. She said, well, there's a convention over at this place in Burlington. And she said, I'm gonna go if he don't say he wanna go nowhere, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna pack my bags and make it look like I'm going out in the evening or something. So I remember that night he was sitting on the couch, and my mom picked up her stuff and packed her. She came in the living room where he was at watching TV and packed her stuff in the bags, and she put the bags into the car. And she took off. And so he came to me and said, where'd your mama go? And I was like, I don't know, man. I knew all along where she was going. And a few minutes later, about 15 minutes, she called. And she said, where's he doing? And he was pacing the floor. He was about to lose his mind in there. And I told him, I said, listen. I said, Mom, I can't do that. I told him, I said, listen, while she was on the phone, I said, go in there, take a shower, get dressed, and go over to the place where she at. Because he was about to lose his mind. But anyway, I want to put him on there because he showed us love, he took care of us. And I also want to say this too. Sonlight Baptist Church, I can't sit down without saying this. Sonlight Baptist Church has really been, for me, this year, a very, very great inspiration. Memories, you talk about memories, I've had more memories in the few months that I've been here than my whole life as far as being around people who profess to be Christians or church folk that have true love. And Mama, Tracy, she spoils, she spoils, she treats me just like a mom when I'm older than him. I think about it.
Amen.
There's so many that the Lord's blessed me. It's been a part of my life that the Lord's blessed me with, but I got to say, every year I remember my great-grandfather and my grandmother, two very special people, and I can probably hang this one on the tree for Susan as well, my mom. By the way, if you've seen on Facebook, I posted a picture of her when she was 15. Well, take a look at that.
Yeah, we saw that.
But, just 2 years later, she had me. And not much longer after that, I'd be there with Mom and Pop. That's what I called them, and that was my great-grandparents. And the Lord did it. He gave me them people. My mom, I know what you mean when you say drug to church. I remember I used to sit there, and I've said this in preaching before. I wanted to watch Tarzan and the Three Stooges. They come on Sunday morning. My grandma had another plan. She looked at me, she said, no, you're going to church. And church is where I went. Now, I remember one time I looked at Papa and said, well, he don't have to go to church. And she slapped him and said, you see what you're doing? No. My mom could tell you that's how she was, amen. And I had a good grandma and grandpa, and they lived a good long life. They not only saw 5 generations. I can remember my grandma on her knees praying when I was little for me. And that made such a big difference, in my life. But not only on top of that, was she just praying for me, but I can remember her, just the prayer that she prayed was just, Lord, just let me live long enough to see him out of the house, doing well, stable, all those things, that, grandma would want to see, grandson have. But not only did God bless her with that, but he blessed her long enough to be holding Jonathan in her arms, looking down, in his face. And when I say looking down in his face, she didn't take her eyes off of him. Tracy would drop Jonathan off in the evening time, in the morning time, and put her in his arms. And when she come back, You know where he was still at? And she was looking at him the same way. She would say, "It's a little angel." That's what she would look at him and say, "It's a little angel."
Amen.
But they're two special people, and I just want to remember them on this angel. And you know, I can't not mention my brother from another mother. A part of him sitting on the front row. If you can't look at Amber and tell that's, you know, Steve's daughter, boy, I tell you what. Not only in the way she looks, amen,
Amen.
but the way she acts too.
Amen.
You know what, Amber? You know, Daddy may be in heaven, but let me tell you something. He's alive.
Amen.
And he's right there living in you. And I know I'm confident that you're going to carry that on. Do what the Lord would have you do and do what He wants you to do. And Johnny's the same way. I know he's proud of his son. Done a good work, still doing it. You know, I met just a few weeks ago. I was telling Tracy on the way home, you know, when we went to New Testament, one of the men that we met there, I looked at Mike and I said, "This is one that Steve had out in the parking lot at school. We went to school with him." I said, "This is one that we had out in the park. Steve had out in the parking lot in tears, talking about his salvation, talking about the Lord begging him to come to church." And he was in church over there, and I said, "Billy, that is a wonderful thing